LEGO Star Wars has released hundreds of different sets, and some of these incredible sets are extremely forgotten about and underrated in modern years. Today I compiled a list of what I consider some of the most underrated LEGO Star Wars sets. As always, these videos tend to be quite subjective, so drop your thoughts down below. The first set I want to look at dates back all the way to 2013, and that is the Umbaran MHC based on the 4th season of the Clone Wars. This is a vehicle that has only been depicted once before in LEGO Star Wars and is not likely to be remade anytime soon either. It is based on the Umbaran arc of the Clone Wars, which is widely considered one of the best parts of the show, but it did not get nearly enough representation in LEGO Star Wars sets. This $50 set back in the day was quite incredible, with an amazing build of the mobile heavy cannon and 4 quite good minifigures, including what I still consider as one of the best versions of Ahsoka Tano in LEGO. The 2 identical Umbaran soldiers are quite good as well, and unique to this set of course, and then we also saw the 212th Trooper, although the orange on this one is closer to yellow, which isn't really liked by the LEGO community. This set is still widely liked by many fans though, but overall I think it is fairly overlooked and underrated for what it truly is, and I have talked to a lot of hardcore LEGO Star Wars fans who don't even know about this set, which was honestly quite shocking. From a few years back, I want to look at the Imperial landing craft that released in 2018. At the time, this was quite a decent and to me one of the few standout sets of the year, with a generally good build, a few good minifigures, and a somewhat fair price attached to it, although $90 for this set might be a little bit overpriced back in the day. 2018 is generally considered one of the worst, more modern years of LEGO Star Wars, with many lackluster sets that are generally overlooked and disregarded today. But there were some really good ones in between, and I think this one stands out as one of the more underrated LEGO Star Wars sets of 2018 at least. It was the second version of this vehicle, and a much needed upgrade from the 2007 version of the set, with a better and higher quality build and a much more interesting minifigure selection, although another added Sand Trooper or Imperial officer would fit very nicely over here. Very similar, I want to look at the Imperial Shuttle released in 2021. This is a set I often forget about as well, as so few people actually talked about it long after its release. This set was another remake of this vehicle, the previous one being the 2015 Imperial Shuttle, a set which is widely considered as one of the best playsets by many LEGO Star Wars fans. This 2021 remake, however, being a much smaller model, similar to several sets released this year, didn't get the greatest initial reaction from the fans. The build and the design wasn't as good, the piece count was much lower, and the set retailed for only $70, which honestly was actually a really good price for what you got in 2021. We got to see 3 minifigures in this one: Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and some Imperial officer. Despite being generally disliked by some fans, I think it was good and very underrated today, as considering LEGO's change to smaller sized vehicles, making some ships cheaper and more accessible, this one did a really good job at that. In 2016 we got the most unique depiction of the AT-TE in LEGO Star Wars, and that was the post-war version we saw at the start of Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels. This is one of my favorite sets in my collection right now, and I had so much fun with it back in the day. And to this day, I just think it is a brilliant Star Wars Rebels set. However, this set is quite overlooked today as well, and as far as I am aware, only a small population of LEGO fans care about this one today, which is quite unfortunate. For $120, you got a great new build of the AT-TE with several panels, platforms, and cranes, giving it that repurposed look that was seen in the Rebels TV show. And you also got a few great minifigures, all 3 clone troopers relevant to the set, as well as the first minifigure of the fifth brother, which was awesome to see in this one. From the same year, we saw the Resistance Troop Transporter in the second wave of Force Awakens sets, and this one was so cool to me. I have said before that I think sequel sets are incredibly good, despite the movies not being that great, and this one was no exception, with a great new vehicle depicted in a set, with a few new minifigures such as General Leia and Admiral Akbar included in this one. The set could open up completely with a full interior to use the different minifigures in, and it was just the perfect sequel-based playset back in the day, and one of the sequel sets I really regret never buying. I think sequel sets in general are definitely overlooked because of the somewhat bad response to the movies, and as this one didn't include some of the new main characters, people didn't care too much for it back in the day, despite it being really good. A year later, LEGO released the Battle on Scarif, a part of the second wave of Rogue One sets. This was one of my favorite sets based on this new movie, with a neat little build for the entrance to the Imperial base, and a platform with a few different play features and other fun things. We also saw a handful of minifigures here again, being Cassian Andor, Jyn Erso in her Imperial disguise, and 2 Scarif Stormtroopers, and these versions were all unique to the set. This one is also unfortunately overlooked or disregarded completely, often compared to generally disliked sets such as the Obi-Wan vs Darth Vader set from the Kenobi show, both prominently platform-based sets. This one is way more interesting though, and it both looks nice and was a really neat playset for kids to enjoy, with fun characters included, and I generally think it is quite underrated today. Recently I bought a set on clearance that released this year that I didn't think I would actually like much at all. The Bark Speeder Escape is a set that is often joked about because of its rather expensive price point for what you get, and of course the lamppost, which is a rather useless side build here. However, the Bark Speeder itself is really good and easily one of the best yet, and the sidecar included is really good as well. We saw some nice minifigures here, the standout definitely being Keller and Beck, which we are really unlikely to ever see in LEGO Star Wars again. The clones are fairly decent as well, the helmet holes aren't that great to some, but it doesn't generally bother me too much. And Grogu with his pram in a cheaper set like this is really great to see as well. Despite being joked about, I think this set is better than some actually give it credit for. The final set I want to look at is the Ultimate Collector's Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter from all the way back in 2010. This is often considered as one of the worst UCS sets because of its smaller size compared to other UCS sets that are just larger and more memorable today. However, as I am a massive fan of any Jedi Starfighter or Interceptor, I think this is incredible and extremely underrated. I think it makes so much sense why LEGO made this vehicle into a UCS set back in the day, and honestly I think a remake could be very necessary as well, especially after the Jango Fett Slave one that is rumored for 2025. Regardless, the 2010 set is the perfect depiction of this ship in UCS scale, with enough detail all around, a really good size, and an incredible display piece all around. Of course, the only issue is the use of mostly dark red pieces, which after time tends to break a lot because of the issue with reddish pieces back in the day. And another reason why I think a remake is definitely necessary with the updated materials. Overall, one of my favorite all-time sets that is unfortunately really overlooked and underrated today. What do you consider as one of the most underrated LEGO Star Wars sets? This was the third video in this line of videos. Find the others linked down below. Then I will see you all in the next one. God bless you and cheers.